By the end of this video, you're gonna learn the important steps that will save you a lot of time, money, and headaches when building your dream house. Number 1, budget. First, you have to decide on the budget that you are comfortable on spending your housing project, because size of your house is depending mainly on your budget, and bigger houses mean you will have to spend more to build. So if you are tight on a budget and if you don't like to be flexible with your requirement by reducing your requirement, maybe having a lower number of bedrooms, instead of having 6 bedrooms you can have 4 bedrooms. But if you're not being flexible with your space requirement, and if you're having a tight budget, you may end up having a big house, partially built, not fully furnished. So you might not be able to occupy that. You may not know when you will be able to finance to complete your project. But instead, if you can be flexible with your requirement to match with your budget, you can build a small house and fully furnish it and fully finish it with nice finishes as you wanted, and quickly build it because the house is small, and start living there. Number 2, requirement. So be very clear on what kind of requirement that you would want from your house. How many bedrooms, if you have special requirements such as having a pool or a terrace, or although how you would like to have your living space and the dining space to be, how you would want spaces interconnected, if you would want to have a mezzanine floor, 2 floors, or is it only the ground floor. In the beginning, just decide everything that you would like to have it. And important fact, if you have a spouse, you have to really speak with them and ask for that requirement, because sometimes what they want in a house could be different from your requirement. They might expect different things from living in the house. And if you have kids, grown-up kids, and even if you have other family members or parents planning on living with you in long term, I suggest that you speak with them upfront and have that discussion with them and ask how they want the spaces to be, how would they like to have their bedrooms designed, how would they want to influence in other spaces, study areas, how they like those spaces to be. So get their ideas as well and include that as well in your requirements, because this is the requirement for all the users and as well as you who would be living in the house. So number 3, pictures. Now you have your requirement and spaces lined up. You have a basic idea on what you're going to expect from your house. Now it's time to look for images. Now just go to the internet and also go to the websites of other architects and see what they have done in their house designs, and just search the net and find images of house designs. Now a good website for this would be archdaily.com. I'll put the link below in the description so you can click on it and find the website. So just go through the house designs and collect and save as many pictures that you would like. The pictures of the spaces that you like to have that would capture your attention, save all those. So what we are trying to do here is get a clear idea on what your taste is like, what you like and don't like. So by looking at the pictures, you can get an idea of what are the spaces, what kind of designs that attracts you more, that captures your attention, and select those. And important note, always stick to one theme, because you wouldn't want to have like the exterior of your house to have sort of a traditional look, and then have modern interior spaces and maybe some Victorian style furniture designs and rustic kitchen design. Now that would be like having bits and pieces of everything inside a single design, in a single house design. That would not look nice. You wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want your house to look like a combination of all the things. It's not beautiful. So what you might want to look for is just through the pictures that you have collected, select a single theme and stick to it. And when you're looking for interior spaces or like kitchen designs and even living and courtyard designs, just try to select the same pictures from the same theme. If it's modern, then just select all modern house designs, modern interiors. If it's rustic, select rustic house designs and rustic interiors, rustic furniture. Now that's going to look good, and also this is going to help your architect on understanding what you like as well as what you don't like. Next up is finding the architect. Now everything for your dream house begins with an architect, not a structural engineer, not a contractor, not any other professional, but with an architect. Now, because the architect is the best person who can really understand what your requirement is, and then design spaces and your dream house to match your ideal living situation. Because at this point, you do not know the exact spaces that you're going to have in your house, what exactly are they going to look like, but what you only have is the requirement by speaking with your family members and other people who are going to live with you, your spouse, your kids, and also by looking at pictures and collecting what kind of house designs that you like. You have sort of an idea, this is what I want. You have thought things through, this is what my lifestyle is like, so this is how I want my house to support my lifestyle. And by describing all of this to your architect, they will know what kind of spaces can provide you for your requirement, what would be ideal and what would be the best possible solution for your dream house. Question: so but there are like so many architects, how would I know which architect would give me the best possible solution? Now the answer to that depends on what you want. So just go to their websites and look at their past projects that they have done, the past housing projects. Look through the images and see if their taste matches yours. So if you are looking to build a house that can make you healthier, you can definitely check out our website and schedule a call with me, because that's what we are specialized at. And also don't forget to like check the credentials and see, because there are like a lot of people who are claiming to be architects, claiming to have architectural consultancy services, but people like they are not really having the actual qualification or the credentials. So don't be fooled by these kind of people. You can always look for their credentials. If you're from like in Sri Lanka, you can see if your architect is registered in the ARB, that is the Architectural Registration Board in Sri Lanka Institute of Architects. Or if you're like from any other country, you can see if your architect is registered under the relevant Architects Registration Board. If they have registered and they have obtained a license to practice, then they are the ideal person to work with. So next up is the architectural brief. Once you select an architect, tell them your budget, your requirement, and show them all those pictures that you have collected, and clearly state them what your requirement is for your dream house. Pictures always make it easier for you to communicate your ideas with your architect. Now here, after looking at your brief and your requirements, your architect will tell you what kind of spaces that you may have to add, and maybe sometimes what kind of spaces that you might not want in your house. For example, if you are someone who would like to be more close to nature, your architect will say that to be more close to nature, you can have courtyards and include indoor garden spaces and have like large windows and French windows connecting you with the exterior garden. And so those are spaces that you might not have thought about in like when you're thinking of just your requirement, but like analyzing what you really need, what you really want, what you really are looking for, your architect will tell you that these spaces will serve you best in your house. Also, for instance, let's say your budget exceeds your requirement, like your house cannot actually be built within your budget. So now the architect will explain to you how you can optimize the existing spaces to actually stay within that budget and have all the spaces that you already wanted, like maybe by including convertible spaces, like spaces that are multifunctional. So you would have at one time of the day you will have one function, like, and also like on another time of the day you will have another function. So we see this aspect in a lot of Japanese houses where the space is very small and they have optimized the spaces a lot. So again, like also this can be done through including flexible furniture, that in the dining space, if you can have a flexible dining table that you can actually like retract the table and set the chairs aside, you can use that space for another function. So likewise, your architect will give you different suggestions, and if this cannot be done, they will also tell you what kind of spaces that you might want to reduce. For example, if you say you need to have like 6 bedrooms with 6 attached bathrooms, and if your budget only allows 4 bedrooms, your architect may suggest you to have 4 bedrooms and have like 3 bathrooms. So you have to be flexible with that. And when it comes to being flexible with the budget, so that you can actually complete the whole house fully furnished and finish it and start living there, other than having a project that is partially completed and not being able to occupy it. So here what we are trying to do is analyzing your budget and your requirement and see how we can arrive at the optimum requirement for your house. So we are making a list of spaces that you're going to have in your house, which is called the architectural brief. And it will include exactly how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how many are attached bathrooms, and how many are like common bathrooms, how you would have with your budget, if you want to if you can have a single story or like a 2-story house, how it is going to be. So everything, every space is listed and finalized within the architectural brief. So for this, you have to tell everything that you require to your architect. Be upfront with them and help them find out your actual requirement for the house. So next up is design. At this stage, your architect will now begin to design your house. They will show you plans and 3D views of different perspectives of different spaces of your house. Now, after looking at these plans and perspectives, now you can have an idea how it's coming up, how the design, where the design is going, and if you see certain things need to change, certain walls like disturbing, or like if you need any of the changes to happen at this stage, you can tell your architect and they will do the changes for you. And also be mindful that the number of revisions might be limited depending on what kind of a package they are offering to you. So your architect will also look at the government regulations and respond to the local area codes in the design. And also be mindful, very important fact, never do any design change when you start construction, because it's going to cost you a lot of money. For example, let's say when your house is being constructed, if you change your idea, your mind for some reason, and if you think you want to have like a certain bathroom that is at a different location, to be moved to another bedroom and to be attached to that bedroom. Now, to do that, know that it's not only the space that we are moving, but also all the plumbing work and the electrical conduits that are already laid out. We have to move all of that from this place to this place. So it's gonna cost a lot of money and a lot of changes. Why? Because now at the existing space, your bathroom, for the bathroom, the floor is already dropped, so you have to refill it again. And at the new location, you have to drop the slab again, the floor again for the new location to locate the bathroom at the new place, and also reconnect all that plumbing work and electrical conduit for the already laid out grid. So it is definitely gonna waste a lot of money and a lot of time, and also going to waste your money. So be mindful that you have to freeze the design before you start constructing your house. Next one is other professionals. When your architect begins designing your project, they will also look for other professionals required for your project. First one is the structural engineer. You will need a structural engineer to design the structure for your house. They will do the load calculations for the house, and they are the ones who decide on how the column grid needs to come and what are the sizes of the columns and beams, and they make sure overall that the walls don't crack. They design the foundation and they make sure that your house is safe for you to live in. Next one is MEPF consultants. So it means mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire safety. So mechanical and plumbing actually goes hand in hand. This is done by a mechanical engineer, and they are the ones who do all the plumbing work, do all the cooling and heating systems, refrigeration, and the water supply, and the wastewater and the sewer lines. How does the plumbing work for all of that works? It is done by a mechanical engineer. Next one is the electrical engineer. They are the one who would calculate the electrical demand for your house, and they will do the electrical design. So based on the design, lighting layout design provided by your architect, that is the lighting layout design includes where you will have light fittings, what kind of light fittings you will have in each and every space. In bedrooms and in living areas will you have chandeliers, and also where the switches are going to be located. All of that is included in the lighting layout, and the electrical engineer will do the electrical design based on that lighting layout. And if you plan on having a smart house, that is a house that is automating everything and where you can control everything by your smartphone, you will have to hire an ELV engineer. So next up, for the fire protection. For a house, the fire protection system is also designed by a mechanical engineer, but if you want, you can also find a fire consultant for the project. So the next professional is the cost consultant or the quantity surveyor, who will prepare the BOQ, that is bill of quantities, for the whole project. At this stage, the architect has refined and issued all the architectural drawings. So based on that, the quantity surveyor or the cost consultant is preparing the BOQ. So BOQ is basically a list of all the materials and how many hours of labor that you will need to construct the whole project. It will include like everything in quantities, like how much cement and sand you will want, how many hours of labor, and also how many bricks you would want. Everything in quantities is specifically mentioned in a BOQ. Then afterwards, your cost consultant will price the BOQ based on the current market prices and provide you the accurate cost estimate for building your house. So the cost consultant will also prepare the contract document for finding a contractor suitable for your building project. And then again, you don't have to worry about all of these professionals involved in your housing project, because your architect is the one who is acting as the team leader, and he's the one who's coordinating all the consultants as and when necessary, and you will communicate their ideas to you and handle the project throughout the whole process. Next step is finding a contractor. Now, to get your house built, after you get it designed and after your architect issues all the construction drawings, you have to find a qualified contractor. Now, it is important that if you need to get it built just the way that it is designed, it is really important that you find a qualified contractor for your project. Now, this is a subject area that most people are kind of scared of, and also most of the people think that by getting into finding a contractor through a bidding and negotiation phase and like signing that formal contract is going to cost them more. But this is actually vice versa. It's going to save you a lot of money and time and a lot of hassle. Now, talking about contractors is kind of another topic, and I'm talking about that in my next video. So make sure that you watch my next video that is coming up in the next week to find more about how to find a contractor and what type of contractors are out there, and how you would select the best one that is suitable for your project. Next up is construction. Now, after selecting a contractor, you can begin building your house. So before the contractor starts working, you have to pay between 20 to 30% of the project cost as a down payment for them to mobilize at site and start working. So afterwards, you will not be paying them the whole amount at once, but you will only be paying them as the project is being built, step by step. So it happens like when they complete the house of the project to a certain stage, they will claim the amount for the completed work. And another important fact is, even after the house is fully completed 100%, you are not paying the full amount of the project cost to the contractor. You are keeping between 2.5% to 5% amount of the total contract amount as a retention amount. Now you're keeping this as a security, and for the reason that, let's say, when you start living in the house, some defects can come up. Let's say that some of the lights might not work properly, or even issues that are coming up with finishes, or maybe cracks going on some walls. And if that happens, you have to get that rectified by the contractor who built your house. And like after when you occupy the house and live there for 365 days, that is 1 year, your contractor will come and rectify all of those defects that you're having in the house. So your architect will definitely help you do that by preparing a defects report, properly inspecting the complete house, and notifying the contractor to come and rectify each and every defect. And also they will inspect after they rectify whether the contractor has done a good job or not, and then they will let you know that you can release the retention amount. Now, if for some reason the contractor refuses to rectify these defects, then you will have that retained amount. You haven't paid the 100% of the total construction cost for the contractor. So by using that retained amount, you can find another contractor and do the defects and complete the defects, rectify them, and get it done by using that money that you kept as a security. Now, these steps might look a bit complex, but there's nothing for you to worry about. There's no need for you to memorize every single step. I just explained all of this, so just so you know what happens and what kind of decisions that you have to make when you're building your dream house. And you will also know what kind of decisions that you don't have to make. And if you hire an architect, there's nothing to worry about, because they will take you through the whole process step by step and tell you exactly what you have to do and what you don't have to do in every single stage of the design process, from beginning of that discussion that you have with your architect until you realize the project, until you build your dream house. So now, if you liked this video, if this content helped you in any way in designing and getting to know how to build your dream house, let me know in the comments below. And also make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button if you like to get information, like to know more about these kind of content about architecture and designing. And I'll see you in my next video about finding a contractor to build your dream house.